to Intermediate Level English Language Arts.
Hi guys, and welcome to English Language Arts Grade 4. Our topic for today would be using the present tense form of verbs, right? So, we discussed before different kinds of verbs, and one of the common kinds of verbs would be the verbs that are in the simple present tense or the S form, okay? So here are the different ways of using the simple present tense. Okay, we have three. One would be showing present or habitual action. So example, I always read the newspaper. His classmates borrow books every day. Here, guys, we have an example wherein it's something that's always done. Habitual, it's always done, right? Next, expressing general timeless truths. So example here, we have truths that are always true. Things that are always true. It's like, for example, water expands when it freezes. Children go to school on weekdays. So these are always true, okay? And another one, expressing present conditions, okay? So his family tends a drugstore. Father works in a government office. This is something that's true currently. It's a present condition, present truth. Okay. Now, for you to be able to know how to use the simple present tense, you would have to know how to use it, or how would this verb agree with the subject. Now, I could give you like a long list of different ways of rules that you guys have to always think of, okay? But I could just give you the simpler one. Here we go, right? A much simpler version of it, okay? So, to keep things simple, guys, always remember this chart, okay? Now, here in this chart, you have two rows and two columns. One column would be the column for the subject, one column for the verb, one row would be singular, and another for plural. So here's how it works, guys, right? If the subject is singular, it has to be in base form. So the base form, guys, is just the form of anything that's in its basic form. You don't do anything. You don't add, you don't subtract, you don't do anything. It's in its base form. Okay? So that's how it works, right? If something's singular, if a subject's singular, it's in its base form. Now, since the subject is singular, what happens to the verb? The verb, guys, would be in its S form. Now, the S form, guys, is just adding S or ES to the verb. Now, it's also the same rules wherein if it ends in Y and it precedes or comes after a a consonant, it would change Y to I and then add ES, right? Now, if the subject is plural, on the other hand, you would be following the S form, like what we've discussed before with the plural form of nouns, right? The subject would take that. Now, if the subject is in its plural form, the verb has to be in its base form. Now, if you remember this chart, if you keep it always in your mind, guys, you're gonna be using the simple present tense form much easier. You would be remembering most of the rules already with this. Okay, there are just a few exemptions to the rules. Like, for example, if the subject is I, and you're gonna have a be verb, it's gonna be am. So I am. Right? If you are using the pronoun you, okay, it's gonna be considered as plural, so you are, all right, stuff like that. So with these things, I hope you always remember it. That way you could learn, or you could know all of the ways of using the verbs in simple present tense. And that ends our topic for using verbs in present tense.